Episode 4 of The Mandalorian introduced us to Cara Dune, a menacing-looking ATST, as well as space shrimps cooked up by Heisenberg.
You're goddamn right.
Hello again, I'm back in Mexico City, on a roof, where I belong. So I'm going to show you some moving pictures that I created, Hogwarts style, whilst I was strolling around the city's historic centre yesterday, all whilst giving you my thoughts on Mando 4. The opener to me instantly felt like something from Lord of the Rings, with a village being attacked by Uruk-hai, orcs, goblins, or in this case, Klatooinians, as well as mysterious blaster fire from the trees, which we learned later came courtesy of the ATST. We learned that the Mando wants to hide out from the Empire and the other bounty hunters that are after him, and he chooses the same planet that the village we saw is on. And did anyone else feel the irony of him telling a Yoda-type creature that he's going to have to go and lay low for a while? According to Wikipedia, the planet is called Zorgan. Good old Wiki. But I do wish they'd put up the titles of the planets like they did in Rogue One. And also, I want to see some familiar planets, like Coruscant would be interesting post-Empire. We meet Gina Carano's character Cara Dune, and we learn that she used to work for the Rebellion, and she's even got a Rebel Alliance tattoo on her face. Has anyone gone out and got one of those since? And Mando, I think, meets his match for the first time, well, apart from the Mudhorn, but his first human match, at least with Cara, and I'm assuming she's human, and they both agree to protect the village in return for lodging. And soon a bit of a thing is blossoming between the Mandalorian and the, as far as I'm aware, unnamed character that we see protecting her daughter in the pre-titles intro. She's also an amazing shot on a blaster, while the rest of the villagers can barely raise a stick. And we also learn from their conversations that the Mando hasn't shown his face to anyone since he was a kid. And he also confirms that the Mandalorians took him in and took care of him after his parents were killed. So I guess there's the general concept of his background revealed, or at least confirming what we thought was the case, and I guess more details will be given as the series goes on. And he's going to show his face, isn't he? He's going to show his face at some point. Anyway, they train the villagers to fight and defeat the Klatooinians and the ATST. So after the battle's won, the Mando declares that he's going to leave the baby whatever on this planet in safety. But then this. Bounty hunter with his throbbing fob emerges, and then we hear the shot shock horror, but thankfully the shots come from Cara, who's taken out the BH behind his back, and baby Yoda whatever lives. The Mandalorian then realizes he can't leave the child here, and I think that pretty much sets up where we're going next with this series. He started the episode wanting to lay low, but by the end of it, this just isn't an option for him, and he can't stay in one place for too long. So I guess there's two options for him: a life on the run, or he faces his foes head on. So I thought the episode was pretty good. It wasn't my favourite. In fact, it was probably my least favourite of the four so far, but it definitely felt different to the others, and it actually felt the most like a TV episode, if you know what I mean. I kind of like how fast it's moving along in terms of the characters that we're introduced to. They come and go pretty quickly, don't they? And it'll be interesting to see which ones come back as more permanent fixtures. I'm presuming Cara Dune is a definite in that department, and we still haven't met Gus Fring. So two other final thoughts about this series. One, how do you think it would hold up if you came into this cold? If you came into this as a non-Star Wars fan without that emotional connection to the galaxy, Easter egg blind, do you think it would hold up on its own? I genuinely don't know. It's really hard to say when you are a Star Wars fan and you do have that connection and you do spot, in my case, most of the Easter eggs, but not all of them. And final thought, my mate Vince and also subscriber Aunt Bezufi and mate as well, they both made the point that this could make a pretty good standalone film, a slightly long standalone film, but by the end of this, with 8 episodes, let's just say approximately 30 minutes each, that would equal about a 4-hour-ish film. I think so far at least it could potentially make a pretty cool standalone film, and I'd probably pay to go and see it on the big screen. Would you? Let me know in the comments what you think to both of those thoughts and to the episode in general. And finally, my mate Rory, yeah, I've got 3 mates apparently, he's putting on his annual Cinema in Symphony event next year, February, so just a matter of months away. If you're a UK-based subscriber, specifically Basingstoke, then check this out. There's going to be a link to the trailer popping up somewhere on the screen right now, and I'll also put a link in the video description as well to the ticket sales site. So it'll be a great night. The last few events have been really popular. So if you fancy a bit of that in your life, then check out the trailer and hit the link in the description. But for now, I have spoken. This is the way. Laters.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Jamie Stangram told me to do this because he's a ridiculous human being, which I've discovered in a matter of a few minutes.